What if the most profound mistake you're making in your spiritual life is how you're trying to connect with the divine? We often approach this connection like we're sending a formal request to a celestial CEO in a far-off office. We adopt a specific posture, use carefully chosen words, and hope our file gets pulled from the massive stack. But what if this entire framework is fundamentally incorrect? What if genuine connection has nothing to do with speaking to another being at all? Let me ask you this: when you truly connect with your own core, do you use a script? I'm not referring to the mental chatter about your schedule. I mean those deep moments of introspection, where you seek to understand your authentic feelings. In those instances, there's a form of understanding that exists before language forms, right? It's an immediate feeling, a deep-seated knowing of your internal landscape. Here is the pivotal realization. What we often name as the divine, or perhaps the source of all existence, the fundamental reality, this is not a separate character residing apart from you, reviewing your case file. You are a manifestation of this entire cosmos. You aren't in the universe like a button in a jar. You are an action the universe is taking in this very moment, just as a whirlpool is an action of a flowing river. So, when you attempt to connect with the source, you aren't actually communicating with another. You are waking up to your fundamental nature. You are tuning into the reality that this identity you call I is, in fact, the entire cosmic process experiencing itself from this specific location. Think of it like this. A leaf grows from a tree and, fluttering in the breeze, thinks, I am separate from this oak. But that's an illusion. The leaf is the tree. It is made of the tree. It exists because of the tree. When it falls in autumn, it doesn't end, it returns to the soil that nourishes the roots of what it always was. We are like that leaf. We have emerged from this profound origin, this wellspring of all life, and we believe we are isolated from it. We think we must cry out across a great void to be heard. But separation is impossible, because you are it. You are the cosmos, perceiving itself through your senses at this very instant. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. So, what does it mean to truly connect? It means to pause, to grow quiet, to truly hear. You see, we have it inverted. We assume prayer is about articulating our needs, about presenting our list of desires to a divine accountant who may have missed our memo. But the true skill lies in the hearing, not the speaking. When great teachers throughout history went into solitude, they weren't chanting prepared texts. They were becoming still enough to perceive. They were releasing the internal static, all the anxiety, the strategizing, the reruns of past conversations. They were sinking into a profound quiet where something else could make itself known, and what emerges in that silence? That is the great wonder. You could name it inner wisdom, or direction, or the voice of the source. But what it truly represents is reality itself communicating with you. It is life indicating the next natural step. Let me describe the common approach. People arrive with a full plan. They've already determined the ideal outcome. They've mapped out precisely how a higher power should resolve their issue, the exact solution that would be perfect. And then they wrap it in respectful language. If it aligns with your plan, please execute exactly what I've predetermined. But this is like visiting a master guide and declaring, I have already charted my own path. Now, please endorse my map. The guide might gently reply, perhaps we should first look at the territory together. Isn't the proper way to approach this to come with empty hands? To arrive not with certainty, but with openness? To come without your checklist of demands and prerequisites? To come as pure attention, pure willingness to receive, pure openness to what already is. This isn't inaction. This is engaging with something far more dynamic. It's like sailing. If you fight the wind and the current, if you insist they follow your chosen compass heading, you will tire yourself out and get nowhere. But if you learn to set your sail, to feel the direction of the breeze and work with it, then you discover you can move with astonishing elegance and efficiency. When you sit in stillness and cease the internal dialogue, something extraordinary occurs. Initially, you observe all the commotion, the thoughts pinging around like sparks, the fears, the agendas, the stories. And your first impulse will be to suppress them, to clear the screen, to force your mind into a state of blank purity, but you see, this effort is just more of the same. It's more controlling. It's you again trying to make reality conform to your concept of how it should be. Instead, simply witness. Observe the thoughts arriving and departing like leaves floating down a stream. You don't need to engage with them, believe them, or fight them. Just observe, and in that observing, a shift begins. The mental activity starts to settle. The noise begins to fade. And in that growing quiet, you start to perceive something else. A spaciousness, a consciousness, a sensation of being supported by something immeasurably vast. This is what the ancient texts point to with phrases like, "the kingdom is within." They weren't referring to a later reward or a different realm. They were pointing to this direct experience of your non-separation from all that exists. This knowing that you are not cut off from the origin of life itself. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But what about my real-world struggles? What about the things I need fixed? Are you suggesting I should just sit passively while challenges mount? Not at all, but here is the crucial point. The assistance you require doesn't originate from an external savior who may or may not choose to step in. It arises from this deeper intelligence that surfaces when you quiet your frantic, problem-solving ego. When you are tangled in anxiety, when you are feverishly trying to compute every variable, when you are pleading for external forces to alter your situation, you are like a speaker filled with distortion. The message is present, but you cannot decipher it because you are generating too much interference. But when you become still, when you release your predetermined script, when you stop trying to force a specific result, something remarkable happens. Answers emerge that you could not have calculated. Pathways reveal themselves that were previously invisible. You find yourself acting and speaking in precisely the right way at the right time, not because you orchestrated it, but because you stepped aside and allowed intelligence to flow through you. This is what it means to live in a constant state of connection. It doesn't mean repeating phrases all day. It means abiding in this state of open receptivity, this continuous listening, this ongoing acknowledgement of your link to the source of existence. When you genuinely feel this, when you sense your embeddedness in this vast creative process, a transformation occurs. You cease feeling like a petitioner asking for favors. You start feeling like what you truly are, a necessary participant in this grand unfolding, and from that place, from that sense of unity and trust, you begin to move differently. You make more authentic decisions. You recognize synchronicities you overlooked. You access capabilities you had forgotten. The career situation may not transform overnight, but your relationship to it shifts entirely. You are no longer frozen by indecision. You stop making choices from a place of lack. You start cooperating with life's current instead of struggling against it. This is what the great sages embodied. They didn't position themselves as separate from the source, begging. They declared, "I and the source are one." They operated from that unified state. And from that state, what we call miracles occur naturally, not as breaks in the laws of nature, but as manifestations of a more aligned understanding of how life actually functions. Now, you might wonder, but what about giving thanks? Shouldn't we express appreciation? Absolutely. But again, we've misconstrued the essence of gratitude. It's not a transaction to keep a cosmic parent pleased. Authentic gratitude is the natural recognition of the sheer gift of being. Look around. You are conscious. You can experience beauty, love, thought. None of this is a given. None of this is something you achieved. It's all a present, a mystery, a wonder. When you truly see this, when you feel the astounding nature of the simplest things, a cool drink, a kind word, the sky at dusk, gratitude wells up spontaneously. You don't have to conjure it or put on a show. It simply overflows from the realization of how rich your existence already is. And this gratitude transforms your entire reality. It moves you from a mindset of scarcity to one of plenty, from anxiety to faith, from clinging to allowing. And in that state, you become a conduit for more life, more inspiration, more goodness to move through you. So, here is the authentic way to connect. Sit. You can close your eyes or keep them gently open. Take a few full breaths and allow tension to dissolve. Acknowledge the thoughts in your mind, but don't get pulled into their stories. Just let them pass by, and then, without any words, without any prepared speeches, simply open up. Be receptive. Be listening. Be aware. Notice the stillness that holds all activity. Notice the consciousness in which everything appears. Notice that you are this aware space. And this awareness is not split off from the world it perceives. You might feel a deep peace. You might receive intuitive understandings. You might just feel a sense of calm, or perhaps nothing dramatic will happen. And that's perfectly fine. You aren't doing this to acquire an object. You are doing it to realize your true subject, and then, as you move through your day, maintain this inner orientation. When you're driving, just drive. Feel the steering wheel. See the road. Be totally present for this ordinary act. When you're with a loved one, truly see them. Don't formulate your reply. Don't analyze their words. Just be there, completely available, completely open. This is the real connection. Not the words you say, but the depth of your attention. Not the petitions you make, but the consciousness you bring to each experience. When you live like this, you find something beautiful. The line between the spiritual and the everyday blurs and vanishes. Everything becomes sacred. Drinking tea is sacred. Commuting is sacred. Working is sacred. Because you are no longer distant from the source. You are no longer trying to capture its attention. You are simply being what you are, a singular expression of the infinite, a specific location where the cosmos is knowing itself, and from this place, if you do speak words from the heart, they come from a different depth. They aren't negotiations or performances. They are expressions of this deeper knowing. They might sound like, "I am grateful," or "reveal the way," or a simple, surrendered "Amen." You see, the correct way to connect with the divine is to realize there is no separate entity to connect with. There is only this eternal present, this immediate experience of aliveness. And you are not apart from it. You are it. So, cease striving so intensely. Stop performing. Stop pretending you are a separate self addressing an external other. Just be quiet. Just listen. Just open yourself to what is. And in that openness, you'll discover that you are already being lived. The universe is expressing itself as you. The divine, if you wish to use that term, is not a being you talk to. It is the being that you are. This is the secret whispered across all wisdom traditions. That the pilgrim and the destination are one. That the act of seeking and what is sought are the same reality viewing itself from different points. That true connection is not a conversation between two, but the cosmos awakening to itself. So the correct way is to stop talking and start listening, to stop seeking and start being, to stop performing and start experiencing. And in that simple, profound shift, everything is transformed. Not because a distant God finally heard your call and decided to answer, but because you remembered what you have always been, an indivisible aspect of the whole, the universe experiencing itself in the unique and precious form of you. And that, my friends, changes everything. If this exploration resonated with you, please support this channel by giving it a like and subscribe to Winds of Thought for more journeys into understanding.